Have you ever driven down the 405 freeway in the Sepulveda Pass and wondered, I wish I could go on a monorail instead of being stuck in this traffic? Well, you almost got your wish, but that will never come true. Instead, another transit system will in fact be built through this stretch, a more efficient one and faster one. Let me explain. If you've ever been to or live in Los Angeles, you likely have taken a trip on the infamous 405 freeway through the Sepulveda Pass. In any average weekday, that 10-mile stretch of the 405 freeway from the 10 freeway to the 101 carries about 500,000 cars per day. The 405 freeway is consistently one of the nation's busiest freeways, as are the 10 and 101. The only other option to get through the pass is using Sepulveda Boulevard, which is only 2 lanes and fills up quite quickly. The only transit option to the pass is the bus, line 234, that goes through the same Sepulveda Boulevard. Los Angeles' modern metro system started with the A line, formerly the Blue Line, that opened in 1990, and it goes from downtown Los Angeles to downtown Long Beach. Since then, various propositions like A and C, and most importantly for these two newest projects, sales taxes, R and M, have propelled LA's transit system to be the third biggest in the country in only 35 years of existence. The system has now over 100 stations and is over 100 miles long and continues to grow rapidly. Metro has wanted a transit line through the Sepulveda Pass for quite a while now. It appeared on the regional planning map as early as 1980 and started to be formally studied about 14 years ago. Following the passage of the ever so important Measure M, that kicked the process into high gear with the start of the feasibility study back in 2017. That study lasts until 2019, and that study comes up with a financially impractical ways to implement a high-capacity transit line through the pass. Next came the environmental review phase, which we are still in, and started way back in 2021. Yes, these guys last forever. It's been 5 years, and that's why these transit projects last such a long time. This is when the engineers and project teams come up with several alternatives and routes for the project and go present their options to the community and then the board. This project came up with 6 alternatives, 3 of which were a monorail option and the other a heavy rail, aka subway option. Metro was working with 2 companies on these alternatives. The LA SkyRail Express was doing the monorail option and the Sepulveda Transit Corridor partners the subway options. Alternatives 1 through 3 were all the monorail options, some above and below ground, and they all included a stop at UCLA. The problem with the monorail options was that they were all low capacity and presented significant safety concerns if they were to break down in the middle of the freeway, or if there was a fire in the Sepulveda Pass that presented safety concerns, such as shutting down the freeway, which would then shut down the monorail. Alternatives 4 to 6 were much better options, as it would be fully underground and not over the freeway. It'd go through the Sepulveda Santa Monica Mountains instead, and that allowed easy evacuations in an emergency situation and no wildfire concerns. Also, any subway option can be easily integrated into the current system, whereas a monorail would be completely new technology for Los Angeles that it couldn't integrate into an existing LA Metro rail line. There were advocates and naysayers for both options. The Bel Air and Sherman Oaks neighborhoods were against any subway options and fought hard against the latter options, with several community meetings trying to sway the public to their side. My wife and I went to one of the meetings and was filled with some NIMBYs, but mostly filled with UCLA students who not only wanted to stop at their school, but were vying for one of the subway options. That's why last week was very important when Metro's planning committee made a selection of the locally preferred alternative for the Sepulveda Pass Transit Corridor project. They determined that a modified alternative 5, which is a fully underground subway connecting the G line and D line with stops along Van Nuys Boulevard and UCLA, would be the most efficient option. This option would be built in phases, with the initial operating segment between the G line Van Nuys station and the D line Westwood station opening first, with extensions to the E line Expo Sepulveda station and Van Nuys Metrolink station after that. The iOS would have a ride time of 10 minutes, meaning you would be able to get to and from Van Nuys and West LA in 10 minutes, even during rush hour, when it could take up to 40 minutes plus during that time. Trains at peak times would come every 2.5 minutes and be completely driverless. The modified alternative 5 option saves Metro money, as it makes the overall project route shorter, eliminates an aerial segment, which is very costly, in the valley, and also was the source of the NIMBYs problems in Sherman Oaks, and also eliminates the need for a costly ventilation shaft in the Santa Monica Mountains. A future phase of this line will connect to the newly opened LAX Transit Center, for a direct valley to LAX connection. Next phase, after the Metro Board approves this locally preferred alternative, will be for the project to continue doing its environmental impact report and look into the feasibility and new costs of the modified alternative 5. Metro will need to secure additional financing for this project and exploring a public-private partnership, again with Sepulveda Transit Corridor partners, to help complete it on time and on budget. Metro has currently secured $5.7 billion for this project from Metro's R&M, which will help it compete for federal grants and public-private partnerships. Next, we have the C and K line extension to Torrance. The committee voted on the final environmental impact report for this extension, which is a 4.5-mile, fully graded separated line to the Torrance Transit Center. This will extend the current C, formerly Green, line from Hawthorne to Torrance. When this opens, this will be part of the K line operations and have connections to LAX as well as Crenshaw and eventually Hollywood. Metro has secured $1.34 billion so far for the extension through Metro's R&M. If these projects stay on time, they can both open in between 2033 and 2035. In the future, LAX extension of the Sepulveda line could open in 2057, and the future K-line extension to Hollywood could open in 2047, although Metro is thinking of ways to accelerate those options by getting additional financing. The full Metro Board will vote on the projects at the board meeting on January 22nd, and if passed, the projects can continue on to the next phases. These are not the only projects coming to the LA transportation system. This year, we have the D-Line extension opening to the Miracle Mile, scheduled to open by March 2026, and so much more, so stay tuned to this channel for more updates. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, LA!